This woman right here told some of the biggest truth you're going to hear right now. Period. In this video, we're going to start at 45 minutes and 49 seconds. And right here, she's starting to talk about the tokenization of commodities. That is not the important part. Let this play all the way through. All right, let it play through. She's going to drop something major on you. Let's start right here. Let's get it going. Hopefully you can hear it.
The opinion for public stock is much lower at 35%, as shown by the Great Diamond, due to the extensive regulatory hurdles that need to be overcome before tokenizing public stock becomes feasible.
So right now she's going over, this is Amfif, by the way. Told you we were going to get to this video. This is Amfif. She's talking about how, they're going to tokenize bonds, commodities, stocks. All of this is coming to what? Blockchain. What's that going to do to the price? Who's at the forefront of real world asset tokenization? I told you it was serious when it comes to RWA. We're talking trillions of dollars. This is not the important part. We're going to get there. Don't worry. She's going to drop something major on your head. You're going to have a whole lot of research to do after this one. Let's go. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully you can hear it. I turned it all the way up, but she's sort of whispering.
For the other assets, real estate and private credit, they have much more complex legal frameworks, so the journey to tokenization may take even longer.
So now she's also talking about the time frames, right? And trying to synchronize. Keep that in mind. There's a differentiation between local regulations and legalities and global synchronized legalities and regulations. She's talking about the synchronicity across the globe, which obviously that could take a little bit more time. But what I want you to pay attention to is everyone rushing to straighten everything out right now when it comes to regulations and legalities. Just like with the whole, all of these industry powers coming together to ask the SEC, hey, listen, we want clarity. Not ask, they're demanding clarity on, what was it? I have the article somewhere here. Clarity on certain assets or something like that. U.S. lawmakers call for clear SEC rules on digital asset airdrops. This is just one thing that they're trying to force clarity on right now. But why now? Why not years before? Why didn't we have all this motion before? So rapidly, we're going to be getting more and more clarity, right? So just keep that in mind also. Let's go. Once again, we're going to get to the important part. We didn't get there yet, right? The impactful part. I promise you're going to like it.
It is important to consider the extent to which blockchain-based instruments might change how markets are structured. We surveyed market participants on how they feel about these potential changes. We can see in this chart, when asked whether they think that blockchain will become the dominant form of infrastructure for financial markets, 42% of survey respondents agree.
What was that again? They're not the first. We've heard other big institutions survey their people the same way. And they also were saying they believed, remember we covered that article recently? A bunch of industry bigwigs said what? They believed DLT. They believed blockchain will become the dominant force around the world. What did she just say? Now, in their survey, which is a much smaller survey, but it's Amfif, so the companies that they're talking to are major companies, 42% believe DLT will be the dominant force around the world. Wait, you might say, well, what about the rest? There was a small percentage that went against. I think it was like 15% went against that idea. 15%. Then the rest of that percentage was like, we don't know. What? They're not going against it. Guaranteed. Listen, look at what the BIS is pushing. DLT. IMF right now is on board with what? DLT. European Central Bank is on board with what? DLT. The Federal Reserve is on board with what? DLT. Most of the central banks around the world are working with what? DLT. The best companies in the world right now are what? DLT companies. 100%. That's a fact. That's a fact. They've gotten the most work in, right? Like even AI companies right now, they're just now going through the regulatory hurdles. You see what's going on in the United States with certain states are going against AI now. So they're just now about to walk through the fire, right? Because they fear AI, of course, the power of AI. But we've had years to build infrastructure. We've had years to make deals. We've gone very, very far. And not only that, now we're starting to incorporate AI into the DLT and blockchain systems. This is getting bigger than people know, faster than people are ready for. But wait, we still didn't get to the good part. But she's just laying it out. Look at this. In just a few seconds, She's just dropping gems. Let's keep going, folks. Let her tell. She's going to tell.
With a statement, as shown by the light blue bar, whereas 15% disagreed here.
15% disagreed.
As seen here, the dark blue bar, thus producing a net of 27% of respondents, as shown by the gray diamond. There remains, however, 42% of respondents who are uncertain that blockchain will become the dominant.
42%. I told you. So I remember it from watching it earlier. 42% uncertain. They're going to come over to this side. That 15% is going to come over also out of necessity. If you want to interact with the new financial system, you're going to have to connect to it 100%. That's why they're all going hardcore right now, pushing so hard. Oh, and another thing at the beginning of the video, we're not going to get to cover. Before we get to the impactful part, she's going to drop a bomb here. They talked about fragmentation. Guess what? We're right about fragmentation. They're going to need our interoperability. Very interesting, isn't it? Let's keep going.
Form of infrastructure for financial markets. When it comes to whether DLT architecture can perform the functions of a central securities depository, a smaller share of...
What? What was that word she just said? A central security depository. Wait. Say it again. Let's see if we can play that again.
Whether DLT architecture can perform the functions of a central securities depository. Whether DLT architecture can perform the functions of a central securities depository.
Wait, one more time.
Architecture can perform the functions of a central securities depository.
Well, that was out of nowhere. A central security depository. Keep going. Talk to us.
A smaller share of survey respondents think so.
Did you just hear what she just said? Respondents think so at 56%. 56% of them believe that blockchain could, how does she phrase it? Wait a minute. Could perform the functions of a central securities depository, otherwise known as CSDSs or CSDs. I want to ask you a question, folks. Globally, totally. How much value do they move per year? You know where this is going, don't you? Trillions of dollars. You can't get around it. It is the truth right now. We'll see what happens in the future. I'm not a psychic. I'm just going by what the information at hand. They move trillions of dollars. She just told you 50% of these big financial institutions that Amphif surveyed believe that blockchain could replace CSDs. If that were to happen, what does it do to that price of any of them that's involved? Any of them. Ripple's deep with them, deep with the BIS, deep with the IMF, deep with the Bank of England. Do I have to keep going? Quant is deep with all of them as well. And on and on and on. We have these connections. Which of them is going to move some of this value? And if they move some of this value, I'm asking a question. If they move some of this value, there's no way those prices stay where they are. They just don't. Let's keep going. She's got me fired up. Talk to us. Come on. Let's go.
Whether DLT architecture can perform the functions of a central securities depository. A smaller share of survey respondents think so. At 56%.
56%.
Disagree with this statement.
Wait a minute. You hear that also? This is how certain the big companies are. She said 56% are 100% yes, they're sure 100%. No one disagreed. None of them disagreed that it could do it. They just didn't say 100% yes. They didn't. None of them said no. What does that tell you about the certainty of the future of these technologies? Who's at the forefront? Christopher Waller said they're waiting on the private sector. The private sector is the best. Bank for International Settlement said the private sector is the best. Who's the leaders in the private sector? I mean, the real private sector that's not controlled by the governments. The governments, the private sector where you can actually tell and differentiate between the government and them. Who's at the forefront of that? The new financial system. Let's keep going. Wait a minute. Let's see if there's more.
This, however, means that a greater proportion of survey respondents 64% of them remain uncertain. As the various pilot regimes and sandboxes progress in their experiments.
Now, that was a little bit the way she phrased that. Let me read that to you from the transcript. So there's no confusion. She sort of ran one idea into the other. It says here, 64% of them are uncertain as the various pilot regimes and sandboxes progress. It says in their experiments, such as the UK Financial Conduct Authority's Digital Security Sandbox and the European Union's blockchain pilot pilot regime, we may begin to see more opinions of market participants beginning to shift. So you got to read it all the way through. Shift the role of DLT, CSD. I'm gonna play it for you. Let's play it. Let me go back just a little bit. Bear with me because we're uncovering something here today. CSDs, look into it. Wait a minute. How much value they're moving? Wait a minute. Let's push play.
Blockchain pilot regime. We may begin to see more opinions of market participants beginning to shift. The role of DLT and CSDs raises a more existential question into their future. Currently, they are responsible.
What does she mean by that? Look how she did that. She said the role of DLT CSDs. Is it DLT CSDs? Did you just say something you weren't supposed to say? I'm just asking questions. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what she said. Look at the transcript, folks. She said DLT CSDs. What? Who's that? If she got that correct. Or was it DLT, I made a mistake. I mean CSDs. Wait, what? But she's not questioning. Wait, it says the beginning to shift the role of, see, that's what I mean. Look at the entire sentence. Participants beginning to shift the role of DLT, CSDs raises a more existential question. So it doesn't look like that was a mistake. DLT, CSDs? Oh, right. I know what you're thinking. Right? The future is insane right now, right? It's hard for some people to accept it, but this is what they're saying. Look, maybe it doesn't happen, but this is what this is where the information is pointing us, right? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Oh, I love being a researcher. I love being a detective. Let it play. Let's go. Let her cook.
Participants beginning to shift. The role of DLT and CSDs raises a more existential question into their future. Currently, they are responsible for providing regulatory certainty, compliance reporting, asset servicing, default management procedures, and well-established links to corresponding institutions in other jurisdictions. Will DLT infrastructure replace CSDs?
You heard that? Oh, that is the question. $1 trillion question. Why would they even ask it if we couldn't do it? You ask yourself that question? Why would they even ask it? This is Amphi. These are the major banks. They're a representative of the major banks. Why would they even ask it if we couldn't do it? 52 or 56% of them believe, yes, we can do it. And she asked the question, will DLTs transform the role of CSDs? Wait a minute. That means we're extremely dominant. Wait a minute. That means we can move those trillions and quadrillions in value, right? That means they believe it. They believe it. Now, let's put the regular people to the side for a minute. They're letting you know they believe DLT, who's at the forefront, keep that in mind, that DLT could take over and could move those trillions and quadrillions of dollars. You're getting it right from the horse's mouth. How can you debate with this? Go analyze it yourself. Make up your own minds. Not financial advice. But that's what she just asked. She would not ask that if they couldn't. And 52 to 56% of those big financial institutions believe that we could. If that's not bullish, I don't know what is, folks. That's why it's important to watch these videos all the way through. Even though, yeah, sure, it might put you to sleep. It's a little bit boring, but that information soon, they bury it always. They bury the important stuff in the middle of these videos when it gets deep. This is almost like, this is an hour, 48-minute video, something like that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Or will they redesign their infrastructure to adopt new technology?
She just literally told people, will the DLTs, now look how she phrased that. Will the DLTs change the role of CSDs, or will they, the CSDs, continue to adopt DLT technology? Remember all these years I've been telling you they would have to out of necessity, congeal with the new financial system. And now what she basically did was confirm that my idea was correct. I'm sure many other people know this as well, but I just speak for myself. That idea was correct. And these are the two dominant paths. Either we dominate and take over completely, and we could. I told you, we don't need them. They need us. Look how they have to adapt our technology. So we don't have to really come into an accord with them. Except, I mean, if you want to consider their bully tactics through their so-called regulations, which are completely corrupt and out of date, to be quite honest, that's all just manipulation. You know, if they weren't evil entities who were manipulating the entirety of their systems, then we wouldn't even have to come into an accord with them because we haven't done anything wrong. You get that? So putting that to the side, we could dominate without them, but they cannot survive without us. Necessity. Right, let's keep going. Let's see if she says some more. Oh, man, this has been a very, very informative. I hope you go watch this. It's on Amphip's website. If you were in the members only section, I put you onto this a couple days back. Let's keep going.
Some believe that DLT would transform the roles of CSDs, where they essentially remain as an important intermediary, but the operating model will transform.
I'm going to play it again. Talk to us.
Intermediary, but the operating model will transform by overseeing the issuance and registration of tokenized securities, integrating blockchain technology to manage token lifecycle events, and shift from maintaining centralized ledgers to interfacing with intermediaries.
Say it again.
But the operating model will transform by overseeing the issuance and registration of tokenized securities, integrating blockchain technology to manage token lifecycle events, and shift from maintaining centralized.
Now, with that, that could be a mic drop right there. With that, and their lack of interoperability and all that value possibly flowing through we who have the connector piece, who are the bridge, through all of these various things. Like, I'm well diversified. You know, I have XRP, Algorand, XLM, Quant, Flare, Chainlink, Solana, you know, and yeah, sure, I have non-utility coins like Bitcoin as well. I have gold, commodities, all that stuff like that. But with them, that value flowing through the interoperability, the connector, the liquidity that we have, and true global reach, true global interoperability. That's why you see all the bank coins doing what now? They're starting to come together, talk with each other. You think it doesn't go deeper than the superficial things we've seen recently? Of course it does. This is just what they show you. The iceberg, you only see the tip of the iceberg. The body of it, the greater portion of it, is below the waters. We just haven't had an opportunity to peek below the waters just yet. But it goes deeper. The new financial system, when it's all said and done, will be some sort of conglomeration, some giant network. And you won't be able to tell one from the other. But those pieces, those rails, right? Those rails, the value will ride the rails of XRP. Remember all that verbiage? It'll ride the rails of Algorand and Quant. Interesting, isn't it? What happens if trillions of dollars flowing across these things? What happens if quadrillions at some point flowing across these things? We've been right a lot of times along the way. We made a lot of good calls. If this happens, there's no way that crypto across the board doesn't have some sort of massive explosion. And I'm going to tell you what, before we get into an article or two, we'll close out with some Bitcoin, right? I feel like this is more XRP, utility coin related, bank coin related news. But I feel as if they may use, just my humble opinion, not financial advice, and maybe I'm wrong. I feel as if at some point they will use things like Bitcoin and meme coins to distract the people, have them looking this way, and those things may explode. Life-changing, I'm talking about amounts of value, possibly. They will. It looks like they're poised to explode. I'm just going to say Bitcoin. Let me put meme coins to the side. Although they've been going off, but Bitcoin explodes. Everybody's looking at it. Maybe Ethereum explodes as well. These legacy cryptos, the originals, they explode. Everybody's looking that way. Meanwhile, over here, the bank coins are ready to take off, right? And then maybe they do take off. But when they do, I don't think most people will be in position. I don't think so at all. I think they're going to do that when no one expects it, when they're fully distracted. And a lot of things can come into that because there's more. See, we're looking at the new financial system and the legacy system, collapsing in on itself. Well, it's really seems like a controlled demolition, but it's just one variable in the world. It looks like the entirety of the world is getting a makeover. That's what it looks like to me. Like they're bringing down the old system, poking holes in it. There's like these holes I'm seeing in everything that are being made, right? And I just don't see how society does not change because of those. When you weaken the foundation of something, there must be a necessary breakdown of that particular thing. Like if I were to come and weaken all the different structures at the base of your house would eventually fall. And then that would be, you could look at it one way negatively, or you could look at it as a way positively, where now we can rebuild something in that spot, something better. We can build something better. The good side thinks like that as well as the bad. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, don't think that the bad side doesn't think like that, build and destroy. They do. Opposites are, this is an old ancient saying, opposites are the same. They just differ in degree. Think about that for a minute, right? So they use similar techniques just to reach different ends, for lack of a better word. All right, so now I'm going to leave that there. We could go deeper into that video, but I don't want to do that the entirety for this video. Once again, that's a Amphi video. It's titled Digital Assets 2024. And not only that, I asked the question days ago, why is the cover titled, I want to tell you the title of this before we get into it. We'll close out with this Bitcoin news, but I want to tell you this here. Look what they titled it. It was something like the long-awaited digital revolution. Yeah. Look at the thumbnail. It says the long-awaited digital revolution with a power fist on it. That when you title something like that, it's serious business. Long-awaited. Who is it that was waiting long for this? They're not talking. This video wasn't for regular people. And they weren't talking about regular people. They were talking about the large financial institutions. That's who this is for. This is who they serve. You can even see it with the views. They only have 470 views. People don't know about this. This is buried. They could easily promote. This is Amphi. They have power. They could easily promote this everywhere and have this video and, put this in an ad or something like that and have the views go up, or I don't know, reach out to the media and say, hey, put this video on your websites. And they would do it. But they didn't. Only 470 people saw this. If this is not buried, I don't know what is. This doesn't sound like important information people should know about. Well, I'm putting it out there now. But now here, let's close out with this, good folks. That was a good article there. And because of that, I'm going to have to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 articles I have to skip now. We don't have time. We're going to close out with this little bit of Bitcoin news. All right. So Bitcoin was looking good. All right. Obviously, the Fed rate cut, I believe, is being received well for now. For now. Right. We have to wait a week or two. We'll start to see a little bit more, because there's going to be reverberations in certain markets. Of course, when Fed rate cuts goes up, certain yields, typically, I have to check on those right now, but certain yields will go down. So there could be there could be something, a new variable we need to take into account because of that. New information. But Bitcoin is looking good. This article is titled, Bitcoin broke $62,000 after Fed rate cuts. Here's what traders say will happen next. Oh, is that? Well, this will be good. I want to hear what other people have to say. So it says here a 50 basis point cut by the Fed in the first Bitcoin buy by a presidential candidate. Who? People will let me know. People will let me know in the comment section. All right. I can't keep up with everything. I have enough detective work going on. It says kept digital assets in the green during the East Asia trading day, even though some market watchers are skeptical if the rally has any sort of legs. Fed members, that's why I said I'm going to watch. We have to see. There's a lot of variables here now. But I felt like it was going to be that initial pop, and it was. There you have. Fed members expect median benchmark rates to come down to 4.4% year end, as reported, reflecting some 50 basis point more cuts in the next two Federal Open Market Committee meetings, according to the Fed's quarterly economic projection. Bitcoin is trading near $62,000, up 2.4% in the last 24 hours, which I saw a lot of other things were green as well. I just looked at the charts very briefly. The CoinDesk 20, a measure of the largest digital assets, is up 3.4%. The broader crypto market moved higher. That's what I saw. I thought so. Solana Sol rose 6% to lead gain. That's right. I saw Solana. I thought it was looking good, but they're confirming it now. I like Solana. I'm just saying, folks. Rose 6% to lead gains among majors, with BNB chains, BNB, XRP, and Cardano's ADA rising as much as 4.5%. Then you have meme coins, Doge, and Shiba Inu. I don't consider it, once again, because of everything Shiba Inu has done, I don't consider it a meme coin anymore. It's serious business. It's a serious chain, a legit chain. But it is what it is, right? To each his own. It says, in emailed comments, Chris Arulia, Bybit's head of institution, had a mixed view about the rate cuts' impact on the crypto market. Quote, the broader global economic slowdown stipulated by softer economic indicators. What? And geopolitical complexities is tempering investor sentiment, unquote. The broader global economic slowdown stipulated by softer economic indicators. Softer economic indicators. All right. Arulia wrote in an email statement, quote, therefore, while a 0.5% reduction in the Fed's policy rate may provide a short-term boost to the crypto market, it is crucial to remain vigilant regarding the potential challenges posed by economic uncertainty and market fluctuations. That part I 100% agree with, unquote. I don't think, I mean, is this like a warning or something like that? Because at this point, the people are wise enough, and they've been wizened up by the fact that money has been tight for a lot of people across the board. They're not going to take chances. There's going to be profit taken. I promise you, the people are not. They're not sitting there like, I hope, smoking a cigar, like, I hope Bitcoin goes to 80,000 right now. I doubt it. You see 62,000 now, and you're probably going to see volatility. If it's not happening right now as I'm speaking, you're probably going to see it within the next week or so, because people are going to take profit. They're not going to take chances, in my humble opinion. That's how I look at it. You know, I just don't think that energy is there. In an interview with CoinDesk TV, Maelstrom's Arthur Hayes argued that the rate cuts as a whole aren't necessary. Really? I mean, there's a cadre of reasons I think that they had to do this out of necessity. One of them is political. You got this political season going on. They have to look good. This is why all of a sudden everybody loves crypto and, you know, all of these other things. And the Fed doesn't want to make the current administration, I would think, look bad. So with giving certain information and such, and certain variables that have come to the public's attention, I think they had to do this cut. I said this a long time ago. This is why I agreed. I thought that they would do the 50 basis point cut, even though a lot of other entities said it would be 25. They did the 50 anyway. And so I think it was necessary for them for those reasons, right? It says, and a 50 basis point rate cut would trigger a brief market rally, which it did, but ultimately revealed deeper issues in the global financial system, leading to more depressed prices. Oh, I like that. Okay, Mr. Hayes, good job. Okay, I like that. I can agree to that's a possibility. 100% sure. Good way to finish strong. My coach used to always say that. Start strong, finish strong. And it was very similar to something my father used to say to me. He said, Mick, if you start things the right way, you end them the right way. Right. So that's what I try to do. So I agree with that. I like how you finished that, sir. All right. So now that you have the information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.